Hello, we're standing here at Oschersleben in Germany for my next round of my 2026 season. It is my first time here with my superbike. I have ridden here with my Supersport for the last 5 years. I've come here every year and I think it's a nice track. It has a nice layout. It does have a few bumps in the asphalt, but I had the time to learn the track on my superbike and find a new way of riding to this track specifically. Luckily, I had the time to practice that during three free practice sessions today. During those free practice sessions, I started out a lot of seconds behind my faster time that I did on the Supersport machine, but during the sessions I was able to get closer to my best time with the Supersport. I think this track is easier to ride with a Supersport machine than it is with 1000. It has such small straights, for example on the finish line straight and the back straight, that you can't really rest. You have a corner immediately after, and by the time you can get the machine to go in a straight line, you already have to pull the brake and prepare for the next corner. So it is a hard track for me here, and therefore we also made some adjustments, some small adjustments. The base setup was really well, but I still had some small troubles to get to the inside of the corner while also maximizing my corner speed. I felt confident for the qualifying. I knew that I still had some seconds to gain, because in every lap I had to overtake a lot of riders, a lot of slower riders. When it was almost go time for the qualifying, a huge storm broke out. I think there was lighting within 10 kilometers of the circuit, so that was why our qualifying was cancelled. It is just dangerous to ride here if there's a thunderstorm that close by, unfortunately, but this track is in particular really slippery in the wet, so we already knew that the second qualifying tomorrow will be dry, so we don't want to take the risk, even if it was wet. I believe one person tried to go out, but it was cancelled just in time. So tomorrow I have once again three practice sessions to also prepare for the second qualifying. I hope that I can find my rhythm there as well. Maybe make a few steps and try to go for some consistency where I can work towards for the race. And I'll just prepare as best as I can for my next qualifying and the race tomorrow. Hello and good evening. The Saturday is coming to an end, and in the morning we had three practice sessions. During those 3 sessions, all I had to do is kind of gather more information, gather more feedback, so that I could discuss that feedback with my mechanics to improve our setup. We were able to find some points where I struggled by making the apex, and we made a change to the setup to get to the apex, to the middle of the corner more easily than before. And from then on I still had 1 session where I could try out, and to get a better feeling for the qualifying I wanted to just push until I started running into problems again, because I wasn't able to give a lot of feedback or give a lot of information. The points that I struggled with were more towards me as a rider instead of the setup on the bike. It wasn't necessary to completely change the setup of the bike, just some small tweaks. And for me, I still had to get a little more familiar to the track with the superbike. That being said, the last 3 practice session before the qualifying, I was able to go out with a new set of tires, the same tires that I also wanted to use in the race, to kind of get a good feeling, to confirm whether it was a good choice or maybe we could choose for a different compound. It turned out to be better. I liked the feeling that the tire gave me, and I was able to push for some laps, although I was quite hindered by some slower people and I was amongst the fastest of them on the track. I was able to overtake them more easily, to keep my rhythm and keep my pace and not to take too much time on overtaking them. That gave me more confidence in going into the qualifying, and in the qualifying I just wanted to get the same sense of that feeling, and for the first few laps I was able to do that. I was able to find my place on the track, find my way around it, but after a while I felt that I wasn't able to push with the same confidence as the laps before. And also I ran into a little more people, some bigger groups, which made it hard for me. I had to take half a lap to overtake them, and after that I was out of my rhythm for a while. So as the end of the qualifying was approaching, I wasn't able to improve on my lap time later on in the session, and I eventually finished on P4 for the qualifying. With the first qualifying being scrapped from the program due to the rain, that means that I also am starting from the 4th place on the grid, which means second row on the outside. So if I made a good start, I was easily able to maybe overtake a rider that is in front of me, and after that stick to the guys that are just a little faster than I am. After 2 hours of waiting, it was finally time for the race. I took it slow on the warm-up lap. I didn't want to get any disturbances from outside and just wanted to focus on getting in my zone and getting to my place on the grid. Once I was on my place on the grid, I switched on my launch control and prepared for the start. The lights went on quite quickly, and when they went out, I initially had a good start, but after just a fraction of a second, my front wheel came up. There was some difficulty with the wheelie control, and with my front wheel coming up, my initially good start just changed into quite a bad one. I lost some seconds and therefore also places. And during the first lap, I made a huge effort to immediately overtake the other guy again, but that took a longer time than I wanted. Once I actually overtook him, I already had a gap to the guy I was supposed to follow. He was a little faster than me in qualifying, but I knew, also looking at the data, that I was able to follow him in the right situation. With my bad start, I lost on some track position, and for the laps after, I tried to close the gap again, but I missed on speed. I missed just a few tenths every lap to be able to catch him again, and I saw the gap getting bigger and bigger. I managed to stay within just enough margin that if he made an error, that I was able to capitalize from it. With two classes starting together, in every case we were going to run into some back marks. So if he was just a little unlucky with those back markers at the place he wanted to overtake them, I might be able to close the gap entirely and hopefully re-engage in the battle for the podium. Unfortunately, I saw him overtaking the back markers in quite convenient places. Yeah, once I arrived at the rear wheel of the back markers, I wasn't able to just overtake them on the straight, and I had more trouble and had to take more time to overtake them. And sadly, that made the gap only bigger. I saw him slowly disappearing out of my sight. And although I was making up time on my fastest lap in all of the other corners, the amount of time that it took me to overtake the other ones completely washed my progress away. So for 3 laps, I almost missed out on a total of 6 seconds, 2 seconds every lap, and that's just a huge amount of time in racing. Simultaneously, other people behind me didn't have so much trouble overtaking the back markers as I had, and the gap to the people behind me started getting smaller. There was one guy in particular that completely closed the gap, and with just 1 lap to go, he overtook me on this straight. Immediately after, he didn't really brake on time, and I wanted to capitalize on that, so I took position on the track and tried to set myself up for a counter-attack. But unfortunately, he also went wide into the second corner where I was, and that blocked me from engaging in an attack and made me lose some tenths. I tried to make up for that in the whole final lap, but in the end, on the finish line, I missed out on the podium by just 1/10, which is really devastating for me. I didn't really see him coming that soon. I thought I had more time, but I just kind of screwed it up in the last few laps, and all of my effort that I put into the final lap just was not enough to be able to take the 3rd place home. That's just a bummer, but luckily we have a second race tomorrow. Tomorrow at 8:30 we'll do a warm-up, and later in the morning we'll have our second race. So I can't change anything about this race anymore, but I can do everything I can to make the next one better. Okay, so we just had race 2. It is the end of the weekend for me now. This morning we started with our warm-up. That was at 8:30 in the morning. It was quite cold. We went out with an old set of tires, and I just wanted to get the feeling to replicate from yesterday. I was able to do that. The session was only 10 minutes, so I made sure to go out as soon as the green lights came on. I overtook any people that were in front of me and tried to just claim the track for myself. I had a good feeling. Every lap I was able to go under my time a little. In the end, I wasn't able to do any good lap times, but my tires were already quite old and I just wanted to get the feeling back again. It was also cold in the morning, so it was what it was, but I nevertheless had a good feeling for the race. When the race came around, the weather didn't really change that much. It was still cloudy and there is a lot of wind, as you can also see on my hair. Rolling up to the starting grid, I knew that I had to get a better start than yesterday. Yesterday my start was just awful. This time when the lights went on, I was able to get a better start, but not a good start. When I let the clutch go, I might have let it go too soon, too fast. That caused my bike to not pick up on that much torque. So I rolled away a little slower than others and I was overtaken by another rider. I made sure to overtake him back as soon as possible and try to follow the rider in front of me. Following that rider was quite the same as yesterday. I was just not fast enough. I gave everything, but I wasn't able to catch him anymore. That's just sad. Also, the rider behind me started getting more closer to me, so I had to make sure that I was defending my position. I was on the last podium spot. I knew that I wanted to take home the podium spot and I wasn't going to let anyone catch me this time. He did, however, catch me at one point. Made sure to overtake him back as soon as I could. And from that point, I wanted to try and create a gap. I was successful in that, but just shortly after, there was an accident on the main straight, and therefore we had a red flag. So the race was cancelled with around 4 laps to go. I made sure to get back into the pits as safe and as soon as possible, so that the ambulance and the other people helping could go out as soon as they could. And from that point onwards, it was just waiting for whether there was going to be a restart. In the end, that wasn't going to be the case. We had too few minutes left and it couldn't fit in the schedule to get a few laps in for us anymore. I think that's for the better. Otherwise, we probably would have had a race over 2 laps and that would be just pure chaos. Everyone would want to try and salvage their positions that they maybe lost, or maybe they had the feeling to dive bomb into some other rider and try to overtake them, and I think that only would have caused any more accidents. So I think it's for the better. Also for me, today I'm on the podium, so I'm not really happy with that. I expected more, but this is just what I can take from this weekend.
En dan gaan we door naar de tweede plaats. Rij nummer 12 in de Dutch Superbike. Eddie. Het podium Dutch Superbike race met Sven Wit, Eddie de Boer en Colin Veldhuizen.
And it's nice to end it on a higher note than yesterday. So next race is in Assen. I have 3 weeks time to prepare myself. Hopefully I can get more training in than the last period. Because of my leg, I had to recover a lot. So let's get as fit as possible and roll on next round. Ik ga weg. Hier haalde die me in.